Social media is broken. That's why it's no surprise that Elon wants to buy Twitter to fix all of its problems. But what if I told you there was a more fundamental solution here? A blockchain-based solution that would enable decentralized social media apps without the limitations of their Web 2 counterparts. Yep, it's called DeSo, and it's a layer 1 blockchain that's tailor-made for decentralized social media. I think the biggest benefit here is that it addresses social media's problems at the protocol level instead of relying on some benevolent billionaire to buy some app and fix its problems. So in this sponsored introduction video, let's dive into DeSo, discuss all its benefits, and check out their very own Web3 Twitter that's already live and that you can try out. Alright, in just a minute, we're going to take a closer look at DeSo's most popular app called Diamond. But first, let's dig into social media's biggest problems and see how DeSo aims to solve them. So the first problem is the ad-based model that these social media giants use to make money. The way this works is that we sign up for an account, we post content, and they let companies buy ads that show up alongside our posts. But this creates a lot of content silos and walled gardens because these platforms must have total control over their users' content in order to maximize revenue. Think about it, right? If there were multiple competing front ends that displayed the same underlying content, then advertisers may split up their budget among the different versions. So that's why platforms are incentivized to control their content as tightly as possible. But this really restricts innovation because developers can't build new experiences on top of, say, Twitter's content, and that prevents end users from getting the best possible experience. These incentives also lead to the second problem, which is the top-heavy centralization of power in the social media world. There's really only a handful of social media platforms out there, so each one has outsized power over what the world sees and consumes. Their algorithms decide how much reach each piece of content gets, and they also unilaterally decide what gets restricted or banned. I think this is a case where more choice would be better. Like if users could choose from a dozen different algorithms that display their feeds in different ways, then it could create more diversity in terms of what we could see. And finally, the third major problem is the lack of ownership for users and creators. I mean, sure, we get to use these platforms for free, but after years of building up a following and posting countless times, wouldn't it be nice to have some ownership over what we've created? Like right now, if we get 1,000 followers on app number 1, we can't bring them over to app number 2. We'd have to start from scratch and ask our existing followers to follow us on the new app as well. Also, if anyone gets banned or deplatformed, they lose everything. That's why for creators, this lack of ownership over our content and social graph sounds like a pretty raw deal. Okay, so the problems are pretty self-evident, but what can DeSo do about them? Well, DeSo's blockchain lets you build decentralized social media apps that don't face any of these limitations. One big reason is because DeSo stores all content on-chain. So all your posts, comments, and likes are all stored directly on the blockchain. A huge benefit here is that anyone can run their own node to create a curated feed for the public. So like a sports app can curate their own sports content feed, while a travel app could do the same but for travel related content. Also, DeSo is 100% open source, so developers can come and build anything they want on top of it. They can customize their own UI, they can build their own algorithm. The sky's the limit here. There's also a much lower barrier to entry with DeSo's approach, and that's going to bring a lot of innovation to their ecosystem. It's not just the builders though, things are going to get much better for the end users and content creators too. Because we have an on-chain identity, right? So all our content and connections are tied to that identity. And that makes it way harder, if not impossible, to censor. If we build up a following of 1,000 people, we can bring that social graph to new apps without having to build it again from scratch. We also don't have to worry about losing our content if we get deplatformed, because it's all stored on-chain, so we can retrieve it whenever we want. It's also easier for creators to monetize upfront, because DeSo comes with blockchain native features like social tokens, social NFTs, and social tipping. These features let small creators make money from their early fans, whereas you have to build a much bigger audience before you can start making money from sponsors if we're talking about a platform that doesn't share revenue with you. But there is one gigantic problem here, and that's the fact that existing blockchains are not great at storing data on-chain. They get bloated quickly, and it gets super expensive to store additional bytes on-chain. When you try to run your own node, you need to download and sync the entire history of the blockchain from block number 1. And for most blockchains, that would take several days to finish. Well, DeSo knew about this massive problem, so that's why they created a new technology called hypersync. This would let them build a blockchain that is storage heavy and that could support infinite state apps. Hypersync is a new approach to node synchronization, and it is orders of magnitudes faster than existing approaches. Just for comparison, you can sync DeSo's entire chain in 20 minutes, compared to the 2 to 5 days it takes to sync other blockchains. They like to boast that they're the fastest syncing blockchain out there. Another way to look at this is to look at the cost to store data on chain. To store an entire gigabyte worth of data, other big layer 1s would cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions to do that. Whereas for DeSo, it's just $80. You see the difference here? DeSo's hypersync is a game changer, and it really fixes the state bloat problem that would be otherwise prohibitive. Anyways, we gotta dive into an app running on DeSo to really see the full power and capability of this. So let's do just that. Okay, so this is the Diamond app. Remember, this is their Web3 version of Twitter. So I'm already signed in, but the sign up process is pretty easy. You can either log in with your Google account or use a regular seed phrase that we're pretty used to in the crypto space. And then after that, if you want some free initial DeSo tokens in order to get started, then you can verify with your mobile phone, or you can buy some DeSo separately and send it to your address if you don't want to do that step. But I got everything up and running, and this is the main view. It's just like Twitter. I started off by following some different creators on here, and I can make a post and look at who I'm following, look at hot, look at new different ways to sort it. It shows you the price of DeSo. Now, DeSo is the blockchain's native token, and it could be used for like gas for various actions. You can also use it to pay for various features, like if you want to spin up your own social NFT, things like that. So let's just check out some of the features, right? Like if you want to give people some tips per se, you can give them diamonds of different amounts. And that gets translated to DeSo coins for them, which they can sell on the open market. It's like real financial tips per se. And so you can comment, you can share, you can like, you can give them a tip. And when I first started, I just came on this side, the top daily diamonded creators, because these are people who are active, right? So I just followed a bunch of them. You can also go to Discover to see people who just have like pre-made accounts and verified accounts, and you can follow them. All of these are on-chain actions, by the way, so you can see these follows on their blockchain too. You can also buy their creator coins, but let me get to that in a sec. You can buy DeSo with fiat, with Bitcoin, with ETH, or buy on Coinbase. Yes, it is listed on Coinbase. Here are our DMs. I don't have anything on here. My own profile. They added my picture. I grabbed my name, and I made a post. And this does cost a really tiny amount of DeSo to post it. And when I did the verification, I got what? 0.0005 DeSo, which is like a fraction of a penny. But every action is really small in cost. That's how this works. That's how we can afford to post like thousands of times, even with just that free phone number verification amount of DeSo that we get. We can also see our wallet here. I don't have any creator coins yet, coins purchased, coins received. I can view my transactions. This is their like block explorer, and see, I gave a diamond, I followed, I posted. You can see all of our actions on chain, just like I said. So let me make a post, and then I post, and boom. It's very fast and smooth, just like if we're doing on Twitter. Now, one thing that's cool is that you can mint these posts as NFTs. Right here, create NFT. And this is pretty similar to like OpenSea and other NFT creation platforms. You can do single or multiple. Remember Jack Dorsey sold his first ever tweet as an NFT for several million? This is, obviously we're not gonna do that here, but that's the idea of that feature. And I just wanna show you this Krasenstein account that has been around for quite a while. And if you go to their creator coin, you can see how a lot of other people have bought their coins and are kind of like getting involved in their trajectory and buying their upside per se. So they have over 100 of their coins in circulation, over 11,000 total USD locked, and 34,000 market cap. right? So that's pretty impressive for this person who's been quite active on this platform. And they can take a cut of it. They have a lot of followers following this amount. You can view their activity. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Diamond. I think the best thing here is that once you create your profile on Diamond, your stuff becomes portable across all other apps built on DeSo. So some other notable ones you could check out include Entra, which is like a Web3 version of LinkedIn, DeSoFi, which is also like Diamond app but on mobile, and also DAO, which is a tool for creators or community owners to quickly launch a DAO. All these are super intuitive, but I highly recommend you check out Diamond app because it's completely free to get started and because it has the most activity on there. So go check them out using my links below. See ya!